Welcome to our program. I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh, and with me today is attorney Gary Martin Hayes, founder of the law offices of Gary Martin Hayes and Associates. Gary is an experienced personal injury attorney who has spent over 35 years successfully representing personal injury clients with recoveries exceeding over $1 billion. Our topic on today's program is protecting the rights of people who have been seriously injured in car and truck accidents caused by the negligent actions of others. Gary, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, Dr. Walsh, thanks for having me.
Now, before we get into today's topic, I'd like to tell our viewers a little bit more about you and your very impressive background. Gary's legal accomplishments span more than 35 years of practice, and he frequently lectures to other attorneys on the best ways to handle personal injury and workers' compensation claims. Other accomplishments include membership in the prestigious multi-million-dollar Advocates Forum, a society limited to those attorneys who've received a verdict or settlement of at least $2 million. He's also a multi-year recipient of the Super Lawyers designation as voted on by other lawyers in Georgia. Gary's also been named one of the top 100 trial lawyers in Georgia every year since 2007. I'm sure you're blushing by the American Trial Lawyers Association. And as if those accolades aren't enough, Gary's also on the list of leading plaintiffs' lawyers in America. Gary, that is quite a list of accomplishments, but it's not over yet. Now, I want to talk a little bit about your firm. As one of Georgia's top personal injury law firms, the law offices of Gary Martin Hayes and Associates represents people who have lost a loved one or been seriously injured due to the negligent actions of others. Gary, it's obvious that your firm has a lot to offer Georgia residents. Why did you choose to become a lawyer?
Yeah, I grew up in South Alabama, Northwest Florida. My dad was a Methodist minister for over 50 years. And the people that were making a difference within the community, within the church, were attorneys. And then I saw the movie To Kill a Mockingbird. Atticus Finch out there fighting for the underdog. I knew that's what I wanted to do, get out there, fight for the little guy. And been pleased to be doing it now for more than 35 years.
Now, there are many areas of the law you could have gone into, but you chose personal injury. And why did you choose wrongful death and personal injury?
Yeah, when I was in law school, I had the fortune of doing really well. Insurance companies will go in and court the top students in the law school to come and work for them. So I had the experience of working for the insurance companies, and I saw how they treated the injured victims, how they treated the survivors. I couldn't continue to do that. So I took the insurance company playbook, and since 1993, have only been working for injured victims and their families.
What do you tell somebody if an insurance adjuster tries to convince them that they don't need a lawyer?
Yeah, beware the wolf in sheep's clothing. They're going to tell you, oh, you don't need a lawyer. I'll take care of you. That's not the case. And we've got to keep in mind, insurance companies are for-profit entities. 3 ways they make money: by collecting premiums to keep the insurance in force and effect, by investing those premiums, and sadly, they've made the claims process a profit center. They're taking money that they ordinarily should have to pay out to the injured victim, but they're hanging on to it because that person doesn't know they're entitled to receive that money. In fact, the insurance industry did their own study through the Insurance Research Council. They found out the people that just called an attorney got 40% more money, but when they actually hired an attorney, they received 3.5 times more money.
Wow.
Yeah.
I should also be clear that your firm only handles wrongful death, tractor trailer, and car wreck claims. Personal injury is a wide area. Why did you choose to focus on this area?
Yeah, I think the old saying is still true today. Jack of all trades, master of none. Somebody can try and do a lot of claims, but they're not going to be good at each individual case. So if you've lost a loved one because of a tractor trailer or on-the-job injury, you don't need to go to an attorney that handles a divorce case one day, a real estate closing the next, a bankruptcy case, and then gets around to your wrongful death or personal injury claim. They're not going to be able to do a great job on it.
Because these cases and these investigations can be very complex.
They are, and you have to know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. These are not cases you want somebody just out of law school or somebody's been doing legal work for 30 years, but they don't have any time or any expertise in these areas.
Gary, let's talk about your firm's work for families who have lost a loved one in a tractor trailer wreck, or helping them if they've been seriously injured because of a big rig. And let's start with this interesting fact. I've heard that you actually defend the trucking industry in general. Can you explain that?
Yeah. I know it's odd when we specialize in tractor trailer claims, but 99.9% of the truck drivers that are out there, they're doing a great service for our economy. There's an old saying, if you bought it, they brought it. And they're taking everything from raw goods to finished products across our country. And again, 99.9% are doing it the right way. They're making sure their tractors, their trailers are safe. They're getting the sleep they need so they can safely operate their vehicle. And they're abiding by the federal motor carrier safety rules and regulations. And the federal motor carriers put an obligation on these trucking companies to supervise, monitor, and train these drivers to make sure they're abiding by the federal motor carrier standards on the number of hours they can be behind the wheel.
Gary, what makes a wreck between a tractor trailer and a passenger car so deadly?
It's the sheer size and weight of these vehicles. I mean, it's 80,000 pounds when they're fully loaded. That's why they're referred to as 40 tons of death. Because if they're not driving that tractor, that trailer safely, you look at that force when it's fully loaded, it can't stop on a dime. They can't control it, and they're not making proper decisions. Sadly, in Georgia, 200 people lose their life each year because of tractor trailer collisions. More than 5,000 non-fatal wrecks happen each year.
5,000?
Yeah.
In just Georgia alone?
Just Georgia alone.
Gary, you've shared some really important information with our viewers. Right now, let's take a moment to let anyone who has questions about the rights they have if they've been seriously injured in an accident caused by the negligent actions of others to call the law offices of Gary Martin Hayes and Associates. We'll be right back.
Tragically, accidents happen all too frequently, and sometimes those wrecks lead to life-changing injuries or worse, become fatal. When you lose a loved one because of an accident, you have enough to deal with. You shouldn't be treated poorly by the insurance company or denied the benefits your family may desperately need.
I knew our life would never be the same.
That's why I called Gary Martin Hayes.
The law firm I knew could help us.
Call me, Gary Martin Hayes, for a free confidential consultation. Big trucks can be dangerous and devastating. After an accident, your case can speed out of control. You need an experienced law firm that can take on the trucking companies and win. The truck accident team at Gary Martin Hayes and Associates can quickly fight to get you all the compensation you deserve. Don't delay. Evidence and witnesses can disappear, and one free call is all it takes to protect your future. If you've been injured in an accident with a truck, call 1-800-WIN-WIN-1 Gary Martin Hayes and Associates right now.
Welcome back to our show. I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh, and with me today is Gary Martin Hayes, founding attorney of the law offices of Gary Martin Hayes and Associates. Our topic is the protection of the rights of viewers who have suffered serious injuries in accidents caused by the negligence of others. Why do these wrecks happen, and what is the biggest cause?
Yeah, one of the major causes that we have seen over the years is driver fatigue. That's when that driver has been on the road too many hours. They're not getting the required minimum hours of sleep. There's not enough of a break in between when they got off their last shift and they're back on the road.
What is the rule? How long can they drive?
Yeah, the Federal Motor Carrier Standards set forth the max number of consecutive hours, also cumulative hours with sleep, as well as the minimum number of breaks that you have to have.
How do you prove this driver fatigue we're talking about?
Yeah, we're looking at the driver's logs, and this is one of the reasons why you've got to get an attorney in these claims right away. We want to secure those driver's logs. They have to manually keep track of the number of hours they're behind the wheel, the fact that they've checked their tractor and trailer for safety, and the number of hours that they have rested. There are also, through modern technology, new hardware that they can put in these tractors called ELDs, electronic logging devices, that automatically checks the number of hours that these drivers are behind the wheel.
So how do you get a hold of these logbooks or electronic logging devices?
We immediately send a preservation of evidence letter to the trucking company, to the truck driver, to the insurance companies, telling them, you got to hang on to it, because this is proof that we need, or we at least need to investigate to see if that driver had been driving more than the allotted hours. Because within 6 months of the wreck, they can destroy it if you don't preserve it. which is why we want to get in there immediately to preserve this evidence.
So what happens if you've requested these documents and the truck driver and trucking company do destroy it before the 6 months?
Yeah, frankly, there's going to be hell to pay
Oh.
on their part. Yeah. It can either be civil criminal penalties, there could be a license suspension or revocation, and we've even seen situations where the judge says, they asked for it, you destroyed it, now we are striking the trucking company's answer, meaning we're automatically showing the jury you guys are at fault, so the only question the jury has to decide is what is the case worth?
Right.
Exactly.
Wow. What role does a trucking company have in monitoring their drivers to make sure that they don't get fatigued behind the wheel?
Yeah, again, federal motor carrier regulations puts the onus not only on the truck driver, but the trucking company to monitor, to train, to supervise that driver to make sure they're not putting more than the allotted hours on the road. And if they don't properly supervise, they can also be held accountable.
Gary, I happen to notice on your website that you've got something called a quick strike team that you can deploy to represent any family who's lost their loved one in a wreck. Why do you have this in your firm, and what is it?
Yeah, this just illustrates the importance of it being able to get out there quickly to secure this evidence. We have everything from photographers to go photograph the scene, to videographers to video the scene of the wreck. We even have drone pilots that will fly the area to give us a bird's eye view. And our investigators will go out, they will investigate and talk to all the people that are involved in the wreck, including the first responders, the fire, the EMTs, the police, the tow truck drivers. It's amazing the information you can get from these people right after the wreck happens. The longer you wait, the more time is going to erode
Our
the
memories degrade. I understand.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about specializing in truck wrecks, though, do you mean accidents only involving tractor trailers, the big guys?
The commercial trucking can include not only tractor trailers, but tractors where they're driving bobtail, meaning they're not pulling a trailer, sanitation trucks, garbage trucks, tanker trucks, delivery service vans like FedEx, Amazon, passenger vans, buses. So all kinds, especially those, though, that are regulated by the federal carrier motor standards.
Gary, I know I cited some accolades at the beginning, and I probably should have started with this. You aren't just an expert on these cases. You actually wrote a book on it, and the book is called The Authority on Tractor Trailer Claims in Georgia.
Yeah, we wrote it for other attorneys. My partner Sarah Jett and I wanted to give others the opportunity of learning from us, the insight we've gleaned, my expertise of not only defending insurance companies but representing injured victims for more than 35 years. It's something that we feel the clients of those attorneys deserve.
It's so nice of you to share that knowledge.
Thank you.
And I know we have to discuss it. What are some of the most common injuries you see involving these commercial vehicles and passenger cars?
Yeah, it's all a function of the sheer size and weight of the vehicles that we talked about. We see fatality claims, death claims. We see serious injury claims, everything from paralysis to people losing limbs to traumatic brain injuries and the effects that can have on someone. Broken bones, herniated disc, it runs the whole gamut. And it brings up something else. It's not just the legal component the attorney needs to have specialization in, it's also the injuries for us to be able to understand what happened to them and convey that to a jury.
Gary, you've shared some really important information with our viewers. Right now, let's take a moment to let anyone who has questions about the rights they have if they've been seriously injured in an accident caused by the negligent actions of others to call the law offices of Gary Martin Hayes and Associates. We'll be right back.
No insurance adjusters were harmed in the making of this ad.
What are we doing here?
It's a serious auto accident.
That's why I'm here.
A lot of medical bills.
We'll see about that.
He's called Gary Martin Hayes and Associates.
A law firm with the experience necessary to get you all the money that you may deserve.
Let's settle this one.
Call 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. Gary Martin Hayes and Associates, Atlanta's power law firm, right now.
I'm TV's Judge Greg Mathis, and let me tell you, after an accident, don't risk your future. Demand top dollar.
That's exactly why injured victims here in Atlanta know to call Gary Martin Hayes and Associates. We have the resources and power to get every dollar our clients are owed.
If you want maximum compensation, it's all about the law firm.
Call Gary Martin Hayes and Associates right now.
1-800-WIN-WIN-1. Georgia's power law firm.
Welcome back to our show. I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh, and with me today is Gary Martin Hayes, founding attorney of the law offices of Gary Martin Hayes and Associates. Our topic is the protection of the rights of viewers who have suffered serious injuries in accidents caused by the negligence of others. What do you do for someone who is severely injured because of one of those wrecks and they need medical care and attention for the rest of their life?
Yeah, we hire what's called a life care planner. You know the old expression, past performance is not indicative of future results, but that may apply to the stock market, but not necessarily to injuries. They look at what the past injuries were. They look at the amount of medical expenses that they've had. They look at their current situation, and they project what those future medical needs are going to be down the road by talking to the doctors, the therapist, the rehabilitation suppliers, and they put pen to paper to see what those future projected costs will be down the road in today's dollars. It may include home modification. They may need wheelchair ramps or, sadly, a wheelchair-compatible van.
It's so complicated. I can see that the experience that you guys have is so important in these cases. How does someone who has lost a loved one with a wreck with a tractor trailer, or if they've been seriously injured in one of those crashes, how do they know who to hire?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'll break it down this way. I'm often asked, one, do I need a lawyer? And then two, who do I hire? Do you need a lawyer? Yes, please. It's the classic, you don't know what you don't know. So who do you hire? I encourage you to do your due diligence. Check out that attorney's reputation, their resume, go to their website, learn a little bit about them. Were they voted a super lawyer, which is a designation voted on by all the other lawyers in the state in being recognized as an expert? Do they teach other lawyers how they do what they do? Do they write books on the subject? I've written 5 books on Georgia legal subjects alone. Do they have expertise in your area? And then I encourage them to take the phone challenge.
And what's that?
That's where you get on the phone and you see if you can get that attorney that you see on TV, you see on the billboards, you hear on the radio, see if you can get them on the phone.
Can people get you on the phone?
I'm there every day. It's my name, it's my reputation that's out there. And that's what I would want. If my life had been thrown in all kinds of turmoil because of someone else's negligence and I didn't have familiarity with the area, I'd want to sit down with the attorney.
Yeah, I would too.
And that's where you asking that attorney, can I meet with you, is so important. When we were growing up, my parents would not let my brothers or my sister go spend the night with another family unless my parents had put their feet under the same table with that family.
It's a lovely saying.
Yeah, it is, but it meant so much because they wanted to see what kind of people they were. That's what I want our clients to experience. I want them to understand we do care about you. And we will show you not only what we have done, we'll map out where we need to go, but we'll also make sure that they know that if there is ever a question or worry or concern, they're not bothering me. They need to call us. And that's one rule I have for my clients. If they don't promise me that they're going to call me if they ever have a worry or concern, then we're not the firm for them. My goal is to take away those worries for them, where they can focus on healing, either grieving the loss of the loved one or complying with the doctor's orders and doing what they need to do to get better.
How important is that first meeting with you and a client?
Yeah, I talk about it from the perspective of the injured person. It's important for them to meet us so they can get a feel for what we're about, but we also want to meet that client because in our conversations with them, we learned so much more information that's above and beyond what's on the police report. We get their perspective on not only what happened, but also how these injuries affect them in their daily life. And if we don't know that, how can we competently negotiate that claim with the insurance company or present that case to the jury?
Gary, another area in which you're an expert in Georgia law is dealing with wrongful death claims. In fact, you and your partner, Sarah Jett, wrote a book in this area. What are some of the challenges people face when they've lost a loved one?
You have the emotional struggle, obviously, of losing a loved one. And think about it, if this person was the primary breadwinner for the household, those paychecks, they're not coming in anymore. And so you're trying to face the new norm. You don't know what to do. And these people are very vulnerable at this time. And insurance companies are going to try and take advantage of that. I encourage you, please avoid talking with the insurance company, but talk to a lawyer to help guide you through that process right away.
I just couldn't imagine.
It's
Such a
tough.
difficult time for a family. Thankfully, you're there to walk them through these Very emotional challenges, as you say. But can you explain more to our viewers about what is actually involved legally in a wrongful death claim?
Yeah, a wrongful death claim is similar to any kind of personal injury claim in the sense you have to prove that somebody was at fault and that fault caused harm. For example, have a case, tractor trailer driver veered over the center line, hit the vehicle head on, killed the driver. His fault, crossing that center line, his negligence caused the death, the harm to that other driver. So it could not only be in a road highway situation, but also be because of a defective product or an on-the-job death.
Gary, you've shared some really important information with our viewers. Right now, let's take a moment to let anyone who has questions about the rights they have if they've been seriously injured in an accident caused by the negligent actions of others to call the law offices of Gary Martin Hayes and Associates. We'll be right back.
Trucks can cause devastating injuries. Evidence and witnesses can disappear. You need to stop that from happening. These are some of the most complicated cases for a law firm, but not if you call one that handles truck cases every day. Call a law firm with the experience necessary to go after every dollar you may deserve. If you've been in an accident with a truck, call 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. Gary Martin Hayes and Associates, Atlanta's power law firm.
I was hurt in a serious motorcycle accident. I wanted to know what my case was really worth.
I wanted all the money I deserved.
All the money I deserved.
Call 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. Gary Martin Hayes and Associates, Atlanta's power law firm, right now.
Welcome back to our show. I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh, and with me today is Gary Martin Hayes, founding attorney of the law offices of Gary Martin Hayes and Associates. Our topic is the protection of the rights of viewers who have suffered serious injuries in accidents caused by the negligence of others. Who has the right to pursue a wrongful death claim?
Yeah, this is set by statute in Georgia. The law is very, very strict on who can pursue it. If the person was married, their spouse has the right to pursue it. If they were married with kids, the spouse still is the only one vested with the right to pursue it, but she does it on her behalf as well as for the kids. If there was no spouse and there were kids, the kids have the right to receive and recover any money. If they're not of age, they have a guardian appointed for them until they turn 18. If there's no spouse, if there are no kids, then the parents, if they're still surviving, have the right. And if no parents, then siblings.
Then
the
siblings.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah. So what kinds of damages can the family pursue in a wrongful death claim in Georgia?
Yeah, in Georgia, essentially it's a wrongful death claim and an estate claim. And Georgia's unique in that the wrongful death claim, you're looking at it, what was the loss from the perspective of the person that died? For example, we're looking at intangible losses, intangible losses, intangible. What was it worth to them to be able to see the sunrise, the sunset, to go fishing, go golfing, spend time with family and friends, go to church, volunteer? And then the tangible losses. If they were employed, what did they lose over their life expectancy as a result of their death? And that could include housewives or stay-at-home dads who are taking care of the kids. They are providing valuable services to the household, doing the laundry, doing the dishes, cooking,
That's
being
labor.
the taxi. It is doing taxi service for the kids. There are dollar figures that you put on that. Okay, and then you have the estate claim.
The estate claim. What is that?
Yeah, it's the estate. You're trying to recover for, say, the person had a lot of medical bills before they passed because of the wreck. They were in intensive care for a period of time. I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars potentially. That's part of the estate, as are funeral and burial expenses.
Gotcha. Do you ever hire other firms to help you out with these cases?
We do. And we'll bring in firms to help us, especially on the estate claim. You can imagine what happens if the person didn't have a will. Then you have to figure out who has the right to pursue the claim and who has the right to recover in the claim. And if they had a will, you've got to go through the probate court. As we focus on the wrongful death claim, I want a firm to come in to address those estate and probate issues. They stay in their lane, we stay in ours.
Wow. Obviously, our viewers are concerned also, as they're watching now, about the cost of representation. We all think lawyers are super expensive, Gary. What can you say to our viewers?
I say put your mind at ease and call me. because I give my clients the zero fee guarantee, which essentially means we don't get paid unless we recover for you. I do not charge my clients by the hour, the phone call, the letter, the meeting. We don't work that way. We only get paid if there's a recovery, and doing it as long as I have, frankly, I'm not going to waste their time nor ours unless I feel really good about being able to help them. And as I said earlier, my clients have to promise me, if there ever is that worry, that concern, they've got to call me. It doesn't do them a bit of good when they're worrying, oh my God, what about this, what about that? When a simple phone call is going to address their concerns and allay their fears.
Gary, how can someone find out if they even have a claim? What should they do?
Yeah, I give everybody a free consultation. They can call me. It's completely confidential. There's no obligation. We'll ask certain facts to see, one, if it's in our practice area, but two, if there's a potential for us to be able to represent them. Bottom line, even if it's not in our practice area, I want people to call me. I want to be their one-stop resource if they have a legal problem. As we only specialize as wrongful death and tractor-trailer personal injury claims, there are attorneys that only do divorce cases, bankruptcy cases, real estate closing. I want to send those people to those experts in those areas.
It feels like such a community with you. You're writing books for the lawyers, you're training the lawyers, you're helping everybody work together to help others.
It's not only a professional obligation, but a moral obligation. And my parents growing up always said, as we're heading out the door to go to school, try to make a difference in someone's life today.
Son of a preacher here. Well, that's great news for viewers who may have been injured in accidents. Your firm has a record of a number of very impressive awards and settlements for accident victims. How can viewers get in contact with you, and how can they learn more about you and your firm?
Yeah, take the phone challenge we talked about earlier. Just pick up the phone and call me. Our phone number is 1-800-WIN-WIN-1 or 770-934-8000. They can go to our website, GaryMartinHayes.com. I have so many videos on there, not just for people to find out about me and my firm, to learn about the law, but also for other attorneys to, again, teach them on what we do, how we do it, when we do it.
And I love that you're so active in the community. You've given away more than 1,000 bicycle helmets. We all need those. You have awarded 15 college scholarships to deserving high school students. Gary, the information you've given us today will be so helpful to many of our viewers and their families who may have suffered serious injuries in accidents caused by others. It's obvious the law offices of Gary Martin Hayes and Associates is a law firm that's committed to helping clients put their lives back together. And you guys are going to do whatever it takes to hold those responsible parties accountable. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.
After you're injured by one of these, life quickly speeds out of control. The insurance company may try and deny your medical bills, hide the evidence, and put every obstacle in your way. You need to stop that from happening. You need your life back, and a powerful law firm is the way to make that happen. If you've been in an accident with a truck, call Gary Martin Hayes and Associates, Georgia's billion-dollar truck wreck lawyer.